What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Open Mic Podcast, the official podcast of the Open Mic app, coming soon to an app store near you. But in the meantime, let's hear from the artist. In this episode, I spoke with indie pop musician and really selfless, nice guy, Joel Robertson. We had a conversation about his band, WeOverMe, dropping out of college to pursue your craft, and getting your foot in the door as a musician. Joel's most recent single is a song he wrote for his fiancée called Easy to Love. Take a listen.
If you took my heart and buried it deep inside of you and filled it with your love and the beautiful things you do, I promised we would grow much bigger than the rest. Our hearts would reach further than the east is to the west. That's why it's easy, easy to love you. That's why it's easy, easy to love. That's why it's easy, easy to love you. And like the shooting stars.
Joel, what's going on, man?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thanks for having me on.
Looks like you're part of a band.
Yeah.
Over Me. What is that all about?
Man, WeOverMe is really kind of the central idea to both mine and my band members, Colin. And it's this idea that we want to create a community of creators, just people that want to take their creative side to a different level, or they want to get out of their old job and they just want to take that leaps and that step forward into music or into any kind of creative, like visuals or sound design, engineering, anything like that. And we want to create a community of people that are built around this idea that we're here to build each other up and just to bolster each other's creative side. So WeOverMe is really central to just wanting to create community and keep each other's creative sides at the forefront of our lives. So yeah.
That's dope. We love having artists like you on the Open Mic Podcast because that's what Open Mic stands for.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it stands for bringing more exposure to artists.
Mm-hmm.
People that aren't yet artists find their creative side and become in touch with really what makes them unique individuals and be able to put that on a platform,
right.
Make a livable income out of that and turn that into a career. So I really like that
awesome.
mindset that you guys are building with that. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys are looking to put it together an Avengers team.
Yeah, we're calling all these Avengers right now, assemble. Yeah, so we just felt, so me and Colin we're both Christian, and we just felt led that it was a time to reach and extend out the invitation towards just creators around us or anybody that would have a chance to see it. And we're just calling them in to, if they feel led to step out of their careers or whatever job or schooling, if they've just wanted to move in the direction of any kind of creative outlet like music or video or any of those things. And we just want to extend an invitation to them and say, hey, we're doing this also. We both stepped out of our schoolings to pursue music. So we both dropped out of college, and it's like, we don't know everything, but we're looking to grow and we all need to start somewhere. So let's start together.
Yeah, let's back up and talk about that for a second. What was that like dropping out of college for you? I imagine that was a very tough decision to follow your passion for music. And I come from a place where I did that myself to help put musicians on a higher platform where they can make a livable income from their craft. So I really know what it means to dedicate your life to something and do that. And I'm wondering what your experience was like and how tough it was to make that decision.
Yeah, dude, it was when I actually had the ability to make that decision, it was the easiest thing I've ever done. But getting to that place where I could say, yeah, I can step out of college and it's okay, it was probably the toughest decision I've had to make.
I bet.
Honestly, yeah. So I was actually I'd been accepted into Rochester, Minnesota nursing program. So it was like top of the line nursing school, right by, I'm trying to remember the medical center it was by, but it was a really large hospital that I was connected to. So it's just a fantastic opportunity. But alongside of this, I had a huge passion for music, and it's really what I wanted to do, but it didn't seem like the viable option, and it was just always kind of,
it's not for a lot of people.
Right. And it's always, you get a lot of negative comments from people, or just saying like, oh, take the realistic route. You got to stick in college, get your degree. But I knew in my heart that if I set out to do music, it was going to happen. It was like, I had the drive and the energy to make it happen. I have a very business oriented mindset. So I was like, if I can apply this to music, I know that I can make this happen. So it took a lot of talking with friends and family just to kind of get my heart centered in the right place, because there's a fear of finances and losing out, I was in school for 3 years before I made this decision. So it was
right at the tail end too.
Right. It's a weighty decision. And, but honestly, it got to a place where I was talking with my parents, and I was like, I just feel like I can't do this anymore. It was about 2 weeks before I was supposed to leave for college. And I was like, I just don't know if I'm ever going to be happy going this direction.
Right. You're just trying to do something that wasn't
right.
a viable option.
Right.
Really.
And it felt like for 3 years I was kind of forcing myself in this awkward position that I didn't want to be in. And kind of came to a place where my mom was just like, if this isn't going to fulfill you, just say so, and we're going to support you. So once I kind of had the green light from my parents, and there's still some struggles in that area, just wrapping our heads around what it means to be a musician and as a career and everything. But once I had that go ahead, it was like an instant choice, just decision for me that was obvious that I had to take that. No brainer at all. So, that's kind of my college dropout story.
And I wish more people would have the courage to step up and say, this college isn't right for me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something else different with my life. That is my passion, what I love to do. Mm-hmm. And maybe I have a biased opinion here, but I just feel like from a young age, we're kind of spoon-fed the idea that if you don't go to college, you're going to be a fuck up, basically. You're not going to be able to make it. Yeah. There's going to be no job opportunities out there. But, we live in a time, especially with the internet, where there's so much opportunity out there. Right. All it takes is a little push in the right direction sometimes, some positive reinforcement. And there's accessibility out there that you wouldn't even imagine before you take that step towards doing what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I worked in the elementary schools for a while. So when I was in college, I worked after school programs in elementary schools, and I love kids to death. And I wanted to be a good support system for those kids and just try to inspire them to pursue their dreams and everything. But I could just see on the daily how they were influenced, that if they didn't go to college, they would not have a life. I mean, they're literally given
start at a young age.
Oh yeah. They're giving 6-year-olds t-shirts with colleges. They're giving them tours in elementary school for these colleges. And I'm like, if you want to pursue a route that requires college, fantastic. I love that. But they don't give kids these options where they're like, you actually can pursue what you want to do. And if you're fortunate enough to live in the country that really can make it happen. I mean, there's not a lot of other places where you have these opportunities to step out and be like, okay, I have a dream and I want to pursue it. And I just need the resources to make it happen. So, it's definitely there. There's a bias towards it.
That's true. And I feel like we owe it to ourselves as almost like good Americans, in a way, to, if you have a dream, to pursue it, because you said, not every country is given that opportunity.
Right.
So I'm wondering, does your faith come into play with your music? I know you mentioned that it does when you're making music, but that decision to step out of college and follow that, how heavily influenced was that by your faith to make that decision?
Right. Well, probably 100% influence. Like I'm a big believer that we all have our own destinies, and I've felt since I was a young kid that I've been called to use music to minister to people and to affect people that are in dark places in their lives. And so that's been my mission, kind of, is to just write music that can meet people where they're at and can hopefully help them, draw them out of the darkness. And so for me to make this decision to step out, I needed to have faith that I wasn't going to completely screw up my entire life, that I have a provider out there, and that God's going to keep me safe financially. He's going to keep me fed with a house. And it's a fearful thing because when you don't feel like you're the central one providing for everything, I don't like to feel like something's out of my hands.
Right.
So for me to actually step out and say all right, God, I want you to take this and just use me in whatever way you'd have it. So it really just actually came down to the place where I was like, God, I just take my entire life, and I'm just going to let you run things. And honestly, I've been blown away with how that's all come about. So 100% leap of faith, no looking back. Just my life is in his hands, and that's how I live on the daily, honestly.
And when you're creating your music, how influenced is it by Christianity? And would you consider yourself a Christian artist?
Yeah. I don't know if this is going to make sense. I would consider myself a Christian who is an artist.
It makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So I would not consider myself a worship leader or someone that would be writing music for churches, though I've written music for different Christian artists. What I would consider myself as a storyteller, and what's going to be influenced is from my faith and my own experiences. So would I take experiences from my own faith, my own life, and I put that into my music. So not every song is going to be a song that you're necessarily going to sit there and worship God to. So that's where I would differ on saying I'm a Christian artist. I would say that I'm an artist that has music that's completely influenced by my faith, though. So I love to tell stories, and that's what I try to do in my music. And most of my stories are influenced from my faith or my life. So it just kind of, I guess I don't know, somewhere in the middle, probably.
Personally, I think your faith in Christianity is why religions exist, really, because I like the love that you have for this religion and how you can show other people love based on following your faith. And I think in the world climate that we live in today, a lot of times, there's of course religious groups that are radical and preach instead of love. And, you see all these things that are going on with the Christian church that are kind of pulling people away from the religion, but they don't focus on why it was created. And it was created, in my opinion, and the opinion of others, I think probably you, to spread love and community. You have one quote that says, "God is a community of love." What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so that's a quote that we got on mine and Colin's WeOverMe page, our band page. And for us, our main mission is to let people know the love of Jesus. That's really all that we care about, and that our lives have been given to that mission. And so what we want people to know is that God is not, he's not a God that you have to work towards, I guess I would say. I think a lot of people think that it's Christianity is a work-based religion where you have to do things to get closer to God. And what Jesus actually did is he came down and he paid all that. And he lets us just have relationship with him. So that's what we want to show to people, is that it's not about how can I get closer to God.